everybody. Robin here at Toadstool Tarot. Welcome. Sunny Saturday in New York City. Let me just get right to saying hello to Marilyn's Tarot Take, Red Wing, Nothing So Strange, Will's Tarot Path, SCB, SRAI Tarot, and Simon at the Hermit's Cave. Welcome. I'm happy to see everybody here so prompt. I have so many decks to cover today that I won't linger. I'm going to get right into it. I have, let's see. Oh God, where do we even begin? I pulled them off the shelf. Let's see. Is this week number shelf 3? I think this is shelf number 3. Okay, first deck in my Clearout is John Matthews and Silicon Way's The Byzantine Tarot. Now, I only have 2 decks by Silicon Way, the Intuitive Tarot and the Byzantine Tarot. These are early decks by her in a very different style than her later decks. Hello, Apox, welcome, and Aldermoon, who just showed up. The card stock is on the stiff side. Not my favorite card stock, but it's workable. The images are kind of like old icons, and I like them very much. This is an interesting, is that Judgment? Must be. Yes, Judgment card. Climbing a ladder, falling off a ladder. Oh, I love this Death card too. I particularly like these. I actually wasn't drawn into her Shimmering Veil and the more recent decks, but I like her style in the early ones. That her sort of style of artwork appeals to me. This one was a bizarre card. This is the weirdest card in the deck, I think. It's like let me see the label. It is the 10 of Coins. The labels are a little bit hard to read. The font is kind of small. It almost doesn't look like 10, but okay. I thought this was funny. We've got a family here walking along, pulling this child along, but the child looks sort of like it's floating above the ground. Those feet don't seem to be touching the earth, which is just kind of bizarre to me, but I love this for that. Anyway, this is not a deck that I pull out or use very much, but I'm going to hang on to it because it intrigues me. And I do like the illustrations, even though I'm not crazy about an oversized box or the card stock in particular. I'm not ready to let this go. So I'm going to hang on to this one. Ooh, an interesting star card, like Nativity. And I have been keeping this in a little crochet bag, but since I haven't drawn it out to use it in probably a year, I think maybe I'll put it back in the box that it came in and put something else in that bag. So I am trying to sort of make space on my shelves in the real estate for more decks. So I should be kind of downsizing boxes, but in this case, for now, I'm going to put it back in the box. This is weird too, because it doesn't really fit right in the box. There's kind of too many cards for the recess in the box. And there's an overflow of, looks like all those cards are kind of sliding around in the top. So that's kind of weird. There is a guidebook that goes with it, Byzantine Tarot, and I think that is written Wisdom from an Ancient Empire. John Matthews, Silicon Way. I have to admit, I didn't read the book, so I don't know if the text is all John Matthews or if it's collaborated with Scylla in terms of what the book has to say. I suspect he did the text and she just did the illustrations. Anyway, that's going back on the shelf, so that's a keeper for now anyway. Next one in line. Oh, this is tricky. This is an oracle card set that I have. It's Khalil Gibran's The Prophet, an oracle card set. And I don't have a lot of oracles. And I also, at one time, eons ago, I had a copy of The Prophet, and I didn't hang on to it. And I thought, when I saw this deck, I kind of like the images, and I thought, maybe I should just have it again to have a copy of The Prophet, because the guidebook is a guidebook, but also has the whole text of The Prophet in it. But the images are oversized cards, which I don't like. I don't like oracle cards being oversized. Now, interesting sort of backs, very ethereal kind of watercolor sort of paintings with quotes from sections of The Prophet. So number 1, the gates of his heart were flung open, the coming of the ship. I don't even know what to do with that, I guess, in terms of an oracle, but they're pretty paintings, sort of like impressionistic, I guess, watercolors. But again, I don't like it when they do that too, when they mix the orientation from vertical to horizontal. These might make interesting altar cards. I don't know. Anyway, I don't think I need to hang on to this. I never refer to it, and I expect that the text of The Prophet's probably readily available online. So I don't think I need to keep it for that. So since I'm being very specific about trying to remove stuff from my shelves, I think this one's gonna go. I haven't read my copy for years. Why is it that one buys a deck in a large box, all the cards are orderly packed, and then in their first use they all go overboard? Air gets to them and fluffs them up, I think. Prophet Oracle is one that I want. Oracles are like the tarot cards. We feel it or we don't. If anybody's interested in any of these, and sorry to rule out people abroad, but I mean, I may be able to work something out if you're abroad, but if you're in the States and it will fit in one of those little flat rate mailers, I'm happy to work with you. Get in touch with me. So if any of these appeal to you or interest you, let me know. When I'm all done with all my shelves, I probably will post a list of decks that I haven't yet, gotten rid of. I mean, I haven't gone out the door yet, but I decided to get rid of in case anybody wants to acquire any of those from me. Okay, the next one is, this is a favorite I know of Simon's, Whispers of Lord Ganesha by Angela Hartfield. Another oracle deck. This one I haven't looked at in ages either. I don't know if I ever read the guidebook. Actually, I think I did, because I think the guidebook just sort of has explanations of each of the cards and like a key line. Things like capacity to love, personal transformation, decision, insight, be candid, wholeness, clear your energy, drive, revelation, childlike expression. And the cards are oversized. They're glossy. I think this came in more than one edition. I think one's glossy and maybe the other one is matte. I'm not sure. And I kind of don't mind the glossy too much here. I like this because it looks sort of like, Eastern or Indian posters that one might have collected back in the day of Ganesha, kind of. Those sort of dramatic, although now that I'm looking at it, it looks pretty cartoony. I was going to hold on to this. Now I'm looking at it. I don't know if I need to, but I think I will. I won't be that mercenary about it right now. I will hold on to this a little longer. This might go in my pile, like, consider it again a year from now. Do I still want it? For now, there's no urgency to let it go. I think I will hold on to this. But these are kind of almost Disney-esque, cartoony sort of images, more so than I had remembered. Whispers of Lord Ganesha. All right, so that's going to stay. Next, I have the I Ching cards. Anybody have those? This is Klaus Holitzka. I got these because I thought, oh, maybe it'll be easier to read the I Ching on cards than tossing coins and coming up with hexagrams. Is that what they're called? And reading those in a book. And I've always had trouble with reading the poetic interpretations in the book. It was confusing to me. I sort of liked these because I thought maybe I could read them like oracles, because they do have sort of visual imagery on each card along with the, is it a hexagram? Have I got the right word? 2 trigrams. I forget what that's called. I think it's a hexagram. If I'm wrong, somebody will stick it in the chat. So I kind of like this in a sort of an abstract way, like an oracle. Like, maybe I could read it without having to look them up. But the whole idea is to use the hexagrams and look them up in the book and read their interpretations. But, this is one where I've tackled it several times. I keep pulling it off the shelf and then trying to read it and can't, and put it back on the shelf. And I don't think I've drawn it off the shelf in the last year, 2 years. I'm going to let this one go. Marilyn really likes this I Ching. Oh, Simon passed his on. See, there you go. Okay, so that's one for the bag. So far, I got 2 in the bag. Next, I have the Carte Postale Tarot. Do you guys know this one? This one took me forever to get because it came from, I don't even know, Russia, not Russia, but one of those countries over near Russia. It's kind of an antique-y looking magnetic box. I don't know if it's still available or not. I wouldn't be surprised if it's out of print. And there are similar decks to this that use kind of vintage photographs. Here's a sort of, those are the backs. And it's matte cardstock that kind of remind me of like postcards, photo postcards or photo cards that I might have come across at a flea market, and somebody made into a deck. So they sort of like curated a deck from old vintage photographs and hand wrote the titles on the cards. And they're kind of washed out. I guess they're really black and white or sepia tone photographs that have been kind of lightly or mildly colored. But they have a kind of it's sort of creepy. This is sort of like antique-y cards that like came out of your dead grandmother's attic or something, and have a kind of a ghostly feel to them that's sort of unsettling. I used these initially when I bought the deck and haven't used it in a while, but I think I like it enough that I'm going to hang on to it. There are several decks like this that are more popular and more readily available that I can't think of the name of at the moment. But I think there might be one called the Relative Tarot or something like that. Hold on. Somebody's calling me and I can't talk because I'm live. So yeah, that's the carte postale tarot. I'm keeping that. Next is the Mushroom Hunters Tarot. This one I bought because I was kind of fascinated with the idea of mushrooms and that there wasn't a mushroom. I mean, you know, I have a channel called Toadstool Tarot. And then I found this one. It's not like exactly natural history. It's illustrated in a way like Pamela Coleman Smith. Looks like they even pulled Pamela Coleman Smith's moon right off her card into the illustration. And they have all these various kinds of mushrooms, which I think there is a guidebook, and they may be, just let me check really fast. Yes, they list the actual mushroom in the guidebook in case you want to do research on it. Hi, Jane. But I don't know, some of them, and they don't have a lot of figures on the cards, mostly just the mushrooms. I did my own sort of Toadstool Tarot Majors Only deck just with mushrooms on it. And sort of that kind of scratches the itch for my having a mushroom deck, and it feels more connected to me as a marketing tool or whatever for my channel. It's at MPC. I don't know. I never use this. I don't think I need it. It's like, doesn't have that degree of appeal to me to hang on to it. I don't think. So, yeah, I think this is going to go Mushroom Hunters Tarot. So that goes in the big bag, the big blue bag. Next is, let's see, where do we go next? Oh, next is the Neo Rider Tarot Collection. I think this is I forget what they call this one. I think it's like the Shadow something. They did 4 of these, and they're plastic, and there is a guidebook for it. Looks like substantial. I don't think I've ever used it. I mean, it's standard Rider-Waite Smith, but it's like sort of faceted, metallic. The biggest issue with this deck, as much as I loved it, is that it's extremely slippery. I mean, it's like wrestling or trying to herd greased piglets or something. I mean, you try to shuffle it or hold on to it, and the cards literally leap out of your hands. And also, I have another deck. I don't know if that's going to come up today, and may come up later, that has more facets in the design that I've decided to keep instead of this one. This one catches the light in a certain way, but in a very routine way from card to card, whereas the other one has different kind of moire patterns on every card, which gives it that much more appeal to me than this deck. So I'm going to let this one go. Simon could tell me what the name of this one is. Is it the Shadow? Neo Shadow? Neo Rider Shadow deck? I don't remember what it's called. Something like that. Yeah, Simon has all the versions. Okay, so that one's going. And similarly, okay, here's another one. The Gold Foil Tarot. Now, there's a bunch online called Gold Foil Tarots, and they change quite a bit on Amazon if you look at them. And this one, this has a really pretty back. This makes me think of Oz. You know, it's kind of emerald green. And, geez, I could probably let this one go too, but I sort of like the novelty of the color in this one. So I think I'll hold on to this a little longer just because it's kind of bright and cheery in the way it catches the eye with the light and the color. I'm not sure, is that blue or green? It's kind of in between blue and green. Again, plastic cards and slippery. Not quite as slippery as the other deck, but still very slippery. So I'm going to hang on to this gold foil. Wish they were more definitive about the names, because this could be like the green gold foil or the blue one. Or the box is definitely green. I'm just not sure if the color on the cards is green or blue. But anyway. Okay, next. Oh, well, let's go right to it. Here's the other gold foil. This one, yeah, I think this is the one that I like, that I'm keeping. Now, I suspect these were all done by the same printing house that did the original Neo Rider ones, even though they're not done by the same gal that did them. I don't know if she worked at the same ones. Simon liked the Royal deck the most now. Turquoise, teal. Anyway, here's the backs of these. It's very ornate again. But this is what I'm talking about. These are still plastic, but I think because of the kinds of multiple patterns and textures on these cards, it's not as slippery as either of the other two. And hopefully you can see the way it catches the light, how each one has a different pattern effect on it, which I really appreciate, that there is variety to this kind of three-dimensional, eye-dazzling feature. It's like, I love that each one, besides having a different tarot image, has a different background texture. It's Yeah, they really did some extra work here, and I don't even know. There probably are some repeats, but I don't know if I've worked with it enough to be able to tell which ones are repeated. You can see there's a lot of variation in the patterning. And some might find it a little bit distracting reading with these because the patterns in the background almost distract from the image in the front. But we're so used to the image in the front that I think the background pattern is kind of refreshing. So, oh, there's a star in a circle there. That's cool. So these are pretty dazzling, and this is something that like really is kind of stunning under low lighting. Apart from the royal deck, I'd class the others as gimmicky. They are gimmicky, and I think that's one is worth having in a collection as a gimmick or as a tech. I got them sort of as a technological advancement. It's as if, you know, the first deck you got that had gilt edges on it might be worth having in your collection just because it has gold edges. This one, this particular printing process, I think is innovative enough that it's worth having one of these. And if I'm only going to have one, this would be the one for me rather than the other less complex looking one. So, yeah, I'm hanging on to that. Probably or possibly that green one will go next year. But I think this one I just did, I will hold on to. Next, we have Phil Humphreys, American Tarot. Like Simon, I have a lot of RWS decks. And I think I got this one from Melissa Zupan. I think it was her. I might not be. I think she bought several. And this one was released. Oh, this is by Marco Benedetti. If any of you know Marco Benedetti. And it was available on Make Playing Cards, I think. And there were a couple that he did in yellow. And this is almost more of a kind of darker mustard or taxi yellow. The other one was more of a canary yellow, but I prefer the darker. Now, there are some issues on this one. I don't know if I can find a card that they weren't cleaned up that well. And some of them have a kind of a modeling or messiness to the gray backgrounds. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it there. If I zoom in, see there's a little bit of sloppiness there, smudginess in the gray texture background. It's not that bad on this card, but there are some like that. Would you consider a pip deck on an RWS sort of? What? No, of Marco Benedetti. I'm currently having a love affair with him. Yeah. He's got some weird decks on there that I don't think you like, but I think he, as he's delved more into historic decks and putting a lot more effort into them. Oh, here's one. Yeah, like look at the yuck. Look at the smudginess there. This is something I'm sure he could have restored and cleaned up, but I don't know if this was early on in his efforts or what. But I just kind of like it for having an RWS deck with a kind of a yellow tint. It's not exactly black and white, but it's pretty close. I think, is that gray or blue? I think it might be gray, but it's funny. It almost looks like blue on the sleeves. No, I think Simon has a red version of this. I think I've seen an orange version. I particularly like this yellow one. So anyway, Farrell Humphrey's American Tarot after Pamela Coleman Smith's art, AD 2020. It's made in Italy, I think. Well, I don't know. That's what it says on the box, but I'm pretty sure I got it from, what do you call it? Make playing cards. So I don't know. Maybe just upload. I think he has uploaded some of his decks there that you can buy at MPC. Oh, I didn't show you the backs. The backs are disappointing. They're just plain white cards. So it's kind of like, it feels a little like half-hearted effort, but I don't know. I'm not sure if he got a copy of the deck from Farrell Humphrey and then literally copied them exactly as is and didn't make any changes, or maybe he didn't have permission to do that. I don't know. Anyway, I'll hang on to that. Oh, here's another one. Simon, I think you saw this before. This might burst your bubble on Marco Benedetti. This one's the Bollywood Tarot. He did a lot of weird color play with RWS decks. Again, this is another one that is on Make Playing Cards. Those are the backs. And this is my significator card. Weirdly kind of psychedelic colorized versions. Almost like, some of them are almost like solarized photography images, like the, what do they call it? The paradoxical versions of the Deviant Moon decks, where they kind of reverse the color orientation. Some of them are kind of washed out and not interesting, and some are kind of bright and fun. I don't know. I don't know why I bought this deck, but I must have been in a trippy mood or something. It's a little bit of a gimmicky oddity, gimmicky again, in my collection of RWS decks. And I have walkthroughs of all of these on the channel. If you dig back far enough, I'll hang on to this one too. Now, let's see, where are we next? Okay, this one was a gift from Chris at Elemental Cartomancy. I think I admired it on his channel, and he gifted it to me. It's the Jonathan D. Tarot, and it came with a hardcover book. I don't know if you guys have this. It's a pip deck, and I think it's either linoleum cut or wood cut. Not sure. It's kind of thin. I guess it's a 78 card deck, but oh, these are the backs. That's weird. Why is the Six of Swords the back? But I think when he showed them to read with on his channel at some point, I was intrigued by them. And yet, I've never pulled them off the shelf to use. As I'm looking at them now, though, even though they're not a favorite, they intrigue me enough to, I think, hang on to them. And I don't generally like to let go decks that have been gifted to me, but I mean, I appreciate the sentiment, but if they're decks that I don't use ever, then I don't know if I see much point in hanging on to them. just for nostalgia's sake, especially if I need shelf space or if somebody else can appreciate them more. I think this is kind of interesting looking enough and different enough from a lot of the pip decks that I've seen. And palette wise, oh, nice death card. I think I will hold on to this one. Simon, do you have this one? I know you've been getting into old collectible pip decks lately. What's IKR, the only one I'm here for? Being tormented. Damn. Staying or going. Oh, gimmicky. Try harder. Try harder, Robin. Always loved. Which one? Oh, Cosmic. I don't, but I've tried to get it. Yeah, I don't know where Chris got it, whether it was eBay or somewhere online. But I had kind of fawned over it when he showed it, and he gifted it to me. So that's a nice thing. It's in a tuck box. I suspect that this might have originally come in a big box kit of some kind, but this is the way that I got it. What's IKR? I know, right? Oh, I know, right? Okay. Next is, oh, here's one Simon might want. Doesn't need, but might want. This is the original version of the, why can't I think of the name? Kobeshu? Shokeboshu? The Oldfellow Tarot originally came in a box like this, a two-part box. This is actually the original vintage one. And Keishobu. There we go. It's got the guidebook. Of course, the guidebook is all in Japanese. It's got the illustrations in it. And in another sleeve, you've got the tarot cards. Now, as much as I loved this, they come in two sections of cards. I didn't like the card stock. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, it's not too bad. They have little copyrights on them too, which I don't like. And the cardstock is stark white. They look to be like they're a little bit, they might be different than, they're slightly taller than tarot size, but not by very much. And I love this deck, but I got it as, the Old Fool Tarot, which the one that follows this one I referred to lovingly as the deck of the blondes, because all of the people in it are Caucasian blondes, which I think is funny for a Japanese creator to create a deck like that. I didn't originally care much for the stark white look on the cards. And I really didn't like the card stock at all. It's a matte stock. There's a little bit of a sheen on the front, and the backs are matte. But oh, Simon, I'm torturing Simon. Anyway, I may let this go because I don't think I need it, since I have the Oldfellow, and I use that quite a bit. And this has all the original box stuff. So, Simon, if you want to get in touch with me about this, maybe work something out. But you don't need it probably, because you have the Oldfellow. This is another one that I debated. Should I keep the box and or let it go and just keep the cards? But since I'm letting it go altogether, I think it's a good thing for collectability that I kept the original box. I paid quite a bit for it too. So I'll put that in my letting it go bag. Next is this was another gift, the Pagan Otherworlds Tarot, which many of you probably have. This one I didn't buy. This was actually gifted to me. I had donated a lot of the decks I was clearing out previously last year to a friend, and in exchange, they gifted me this and the deck of the Bastard, and a pair of Bose headphones I use all the time. And so for 30 or 40 decks, I think I passed along, I got 2 really amazing collectible decks and a great pair of headphones I use all the time. I won't show you Pagan Otherworlds because you all know it. And even though I don't read the booklets, I mean, it's got a nice book that maybe at some point I will read. And the cards are beautiful in a strange way. I mean, I don't quite know what to make of the cards. That I've decided to, I'm probably going to hang on to it. Maybe I'll learn to love it more. I tend not to draw it out. It is a pip deck. I think I mentioned when I first met my partner, I read for him with this deck, and I think it was this card that I pulled out, and I said, it came out in a reading. I said, this is interesting, the 2 of Cups, because we are both old kind of hermit loner types that are sort of set in our ways, but have kind of come together. We haven't really joined forces, but as we're set in our ways, but we have kind of leaned in towards one another a little bit. So as stony as we might be, we have become a little bit more flexible in our bond. So yeah, I'm going to hang on to that. I don't know, only a few left. Where are we? 143. I'm going through these pretty quick. Here's one. This is Sandra's favorite. I had it months before she did, and I recommended it. I don't know if she paid attention. She finally did get around to getting it. Hello, Kelly Reed Stuff and Kristen Louise, 9 Worlds Tarot. Hello. This is the Forest of Enchantment Tarot, which I really like a lot. I love the images. I love the fairy tale-like quality of it. And I think I did at one point have it carried in a tin, but I didn't use it very much. The biggest issue I have with this deck, as much as I love the cards and images, which you've probably all seen a million times, is I don't like the labeling on the cards. They changed the names of the suits. So we have spells. Some of the majors are changed. The Enchanter, the oldest one. There's a suit called Boons, which I don't even remember which that. I think that might be Pentacles or Boons. I'm not sure. Challenges, spells. Yeah, it's just kind of too hard for me to wrap my head around memorizing the different suit names and the renaming of the cards. I kind of wish they had left it with the traditional names, and I would have been much happier with this deck, because I really do like the fairy tale book type imagery. But just because of the renaming, I tend to never use it. But even so, I'm going to hang on to it. This is tricky. I got this a few months ago because I love Winnie the Pooh. It's the Wisdom of Pooh Tarot mini size, which comes in a tin. Now this tin is oh my God, the hardest tin to open. There, I got it. So that thing isn't going to come off accidentally in your bag. It's a very thick little deck, and it is gilt-edged. And the cards are matte. I'm not a big matte card fan. These are the backs. And usually I like when it's like a fairy tale type deck, I like it when they use the original illustrations. This one they didn't, but they found somebody. I don't know what's going on with this deck. Some of them are right side round, some are backwards. They found somebody who did a pretty good job of copying Ernest Shepard's illustration style. So I think because of the tightness of the tin, the card stock, I like the card size. As a mini, it's not that small. It's more like a tarot in a tin kind of size. And I don't know if it's still available or not. This was an earlier version pre-Tigger, and I've not been a big Tigger fan myself. And then they did another version that includes Tigger, but not that favored by the card stock, and I just kind of haven't drawn it out and used it. So I don't know, for nostalgia's sake, maybe at some point I'll feel like doing that, but this is more of a kind of a nostalgia collectible. So I'm not sure how you guys feel about when you take a system like tarot and then impose other cultural stories on them, like fairy tale decks or particular themes that are like comedic or silly or campy, and put them on tarot. It's generally speaking, it's not my thing. It's kind of like mixing two different things that make a bad recipe. To me, it just kind of, I don't know how I feel about it. I like my tarot to be kind of mystical, mysterious, intriguing, secretive, and not in the common, language of pop culture. So it's, like I said, this is more like, I think I bought this more for the nostalgic charm than anything. And I don't read with it, but I'll still probably hang on to it. Another one of those decks that there's no pressing need for it to go now, since I am getting rid of other decks. This one can hang on at least for another year. And I did prefer this size to the full size or larger size deck. Here's one, the Visconti Tarot. This is pretty common. It's the one with gold foiling on it that I bought actually just a couple months ago. And it's, is it Lo Scarabeo? Yes. And my biggest problem with this is I don't like the yellow ochre use, but I also don't like when languages multiple languages are down the side. I don't really like them on there at all, but particularly when they offset the symmetry by putting them down the side. So yeah, this is I don't know. You know, I'm almost tempted. Do I keep this or do I let it go? It's cheap and replaceable. Will I ever use it? I was ready to let this go, but I think since I haven't had it that long, who knows? I might have a shift in my appreciation of pips over the next year. I do kind of like gold foiling. So I was going to let it go, but I think I'll hang on to it a little longer. There's no point in my letting it go and then finding that I rebuy it in the next few months, right? So that's interesting. That's one I was pretty sure I was going to get rid of. And here I am hanging on to it. Okay, now the last ones are not tarot. I have a set of Musha painting playing cards. And these I've not used. Well, when I got these, playing card decks are kind of fun to have if they're unusual. This one I don't like. The back has type on it, Musha. But I kind of like them if they have separate images on every card, because a lot of the ones that are oops, is that upside down? No. A lot of them that have art images on them only have them on the courts or a couple of cards. And this one has Musha paintings on every card, and they're actually his art. So unlike the Musha deck, which is somebody redrawing his art, this actually is his art. But they're not like the sharpest definition, and they are kind of cropped. And when I got it, I thought, well, you know, I can read with this, I can read tarot with these cards the same way I would with a deck of playing cards, just by transposing the suits and the numbers, the ranking. But I haven't pulled this out and looked at it in a while. I don't know. I think I probably only thumbed through it 2 or 3 times, so it doesn't take up a great deal of space, so maybe I'll hang on to that a little while. I don't think I'd miss it if it were gone, but I do have a big art book of Musha paintings. So I'd probably be more likely to pull that off the shelf and thumb through it than get these cards out. Boy, these are packed tightly in the box. All right, what the hell? I hang on to that. Oh, here's another one. This is, these were from the same company, Flawn's playing cards. If you ever look that up on Amazon, I think they're a European company. I'm not sure from where. And they all have the same sort of generic box, but they put a different card on each one that has a different kind of imagery. These are the back design of this set of playing cards. And these are cards of, I'm not sure who this illustrator was. I want to say Kate Greenaway, but I don't think it is. No, Cicely or Cecily Barker. You probably know the Flower Fairies series. And I also have, I think, some books of hers, of the Flower Fairies. And do I need this? Probably not. I love elves and fairies, but I'm usually not keen on just like normal looking children dressed up. as elves or fairies with wings slapped on them. It doesn't quite do it for me. So even though those are kind of pretty and they are different from card to card, I think I could probably let this go because, again, I have a book of these kind of images by this artist, children's book. Having said that, if I'm going to let this go, I think I'm going to let that Muka deck go too. So I'm going to put both of these playing card decks in my rehoming bag. So there's 2 more to go. Now we are down to Old Maid. I found, are you still with me? I hope. I adore Muka, but not on everything. I prefer more sinister fairies. I remember the flower fairies. Which deck is that, please? Oh, hello, Beth. It's a playing card deck by Flan's Playing Cards of the flower fairies. You can watch back. This is an Old Maid deck. It's a little teeny tiny one that I got on eBay. It looks like a little book. It's kind of a matchbox sort of box. And I was playing around with the idea that, maybe some old-fashioned other kinds of kids' games could be used for tarot because I was interested in majors only. And this one was published by Whitman. I don't know if you guys remember Whitman. And these, I actually like these a lot. These are kind of old-fashioned illustrations. There's Hiram Hay. There's a miner. Here's a cowboy. John Law. These just have silly names on them. They all almost remind me of some of the old bubblegum cards you used to get, not the baseball ones, but they had kind of comic ones in the 60s. And I found, you can look back in my old channel list. Old Maid in this particular one has 2 sets of every character except one of the Old Maid, and you match pairs and get rid of them until someone's stuck with the Old Maid. And what I did was I created a 22 card majors only deck just using these images. And here's the Old Maid. Cute. So that was kind of fun. So at the time I was obsessed with that kind of vintage illustration style look. I thought, oh, let me see what other kinds of Old Maid decks there are out there. And I bought about 3 or 4. So this one is the one I like the most. And I think it has the least number of cards. Like I think it was perfect in that half of them were made a 22 card major. So it was like 44 cards or something. So yeah, I'm keeping that. Then here's a Parker Brothers Old Maid. And I'm not sure about this one. This one is a little bit more kind of questionable, shall we say, for contemporary times. These are the backs of the cards. I think I probably have shown all these on my channel. These are like 1930s type illustrations or something. I could probably let this go, but unless there's anybody scrambling for these that really, really wants them. I don't know that it's something I need to let go. I might hang on to them a little longer, but I don't think I need them. I think one Old Maid deck is probably plenty. I do like the characterizations in these images. So there's that, Parker Brothers Old Maid. And this is the kind of stuff that you can get on eBay and use sites pretty reasonably. Reminds me of Betty Boop. Everybody's off to Simon's chat. Okay. I'm almost done. Oh, here's another Flans playing card deck. This one is a Maxfield Parrish images. I'm trying to remember if I have a book of his paintings. I'm not quite sure I do. So I might hang on to these a little longer just because I don't. But I was a big fan of his for a while. You know, Maxfield Parrish. I bought quite a few decks from this Flans playing card company. If you just sort of like search on Amazon for Flans playing cards, I think they list quite a number of art decks of varying kinds. And one of my favorite ones that I've turned into an oracle is illustrations by Garth Williams, who did my favorite children's book, The Giant Golden Book of Elves and Fairies. He did great illustrations of elves and fairies, some of which are in that playing card deck. And then he also did Stuart Little and Charlotte's Web and Little House on the Prairie. So you might be familiar with his style. I'll hold on to the Parrish, I think. This one was controversial, Black Peter. This is basically Old Maid, a variation on Old Maid, but it's sort of anthropomorphic, silly animals, you know, which I kind of like. But I was chastised for owning this deck as being racially insensitive. And I'll let you hash that out amongst yourselves. It wasn't something I was aware of. I thought silly animals, you know, dressed up like people. Don't see that connection, but okay. If you're offended, scroll on. I like the quality of the illustrations. I'll hold on to this. Oh, those are the backs, which is odd. The back's kind of nothing like the front. But that's basically an Old Maid game. And then the last one, Old Maid. This came in a very vintagey old box. These are the backs. And again, some very stylistically intriguing illustrations of characters. So, you know, I could let all but one of these Old Maid decks go, I think, but they have an interesting quality to the design that I think, and there's no pressing need to let them go, so I'll hang on to those. Still, I think I did pretty well. How many did I get rid of? I got rid of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 7 or 8 decks. So that helps me. And I'll see you all next week. And that'll be my last week for a couple weeks because I'm going to go on vacation. So 2 Saturdays from now, I will not have a show. But next week I'll be here. We'll probably move on to shelf number 4 in my Clearout. And again, if there's any of these that interest you, get in touch with me. You go to the information page on my channel, it'll show you my email address and you can reach out. Okay, bye everybody. Thanks for hanging with me today. See you.